Hello, today I am doing the BookTube Numbers Tag. I saw Pat from Book Chat at Pat do this tag and I thought it looked fun and simple, and the questions are basically just related to books and your channel with numbers involved. The original creator of this tag was Jim at Jim's Books Reading and Stuff. So let's get started. The first question is, what was your first BookTube video? My first video was a channel introduction video, not quite the BookTube newbie tag. I did do that pretty early on as well. That was one of my first videos, but my very first was just a channel introduction. I don't remember much of what I said in it. I guess I just introduced myself, was like, hey, here I am with the channel. Might have mentioned that I had a BookTube channel in the past for a short amount of time that I since deleted the videos on because I felt they could be better. Maybe I talked about some of the books I like and what you can expect to see on the channel. I haven't watched it. I think a lot of people don't want to go back to their very first BookTube video. I probably will watch it again someday, maybe even make a video about it sometime just to show what could have been improved and that could help other people. But I don't remember it super well. I just know that was the video I made first. And then I had a book review ready to go so that I could upload 2 videos on my first day of uploading so that I would have more than just the channel introduction. And I think that can be a good thing to do when you first start, have more than one video ready to show people that you're serious and you've got stuff planned and ready in advance. Question 2 is, how many books are you currently reading? I am currently reading 5 books and I will show you each of them. So there's one nonfiction book and the rest are all novels in verse. So that's why I'm reading so many, because novels in verse are much easier to read than regular novels. I've been reading a lot of those recently, although some of them do end up taking me a while to read depending on how interested I am in them, and not all novels in verse have the same writing style. So one of the books I'm reading is Life on the Bridge, Linking My World to Yours as an Autistic Therapist by Kaylin Partlow. I'm very close to done with this and I'm very much enjoying it. I will give my predictions for my star ratings for each of these books. This is definitely going to be 5 stars. You'll see individual reviews of all these books as long as I finish them, because there's at least one I'm not so sure I will, and we'll get to that. But yeah, I'm very much enjoying this. Very informational and helpful. I look forward to telling you more about this in a full review. Now, as for the other 4 books, one is Turn the Tide by Elaine Dimopoulos. This is a middle grade novel in verse about environmentalism, and I'm enjoying this one a lot. I'm not sure if it's going to be 5 stars, but I think it's a possibility. At the very least, I think it will be 4. I'll just have to see how it wraps up. But as you can see, I am over halfway done with it. Might even finish it within the next few days. I usually don't use bookmarks, but I've had these notes that I still gotta do what's on them, so I decided to just put them in a book so I won't forget about them. But this has been pretty enjoyable. I look forward to telling you more about this. There is also Wave by Diana Farrad. This is more young adult. I mean, it says young adult. The main character is 13, but I guess depending on the content, that's what determines it to be young adult. I haven't read much of this. I'm not very far into it. So far, there are some things that I like about it. Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna love it, but I think it has potential at the very least. Most of these novels in verse that I'm mentioning, I've never read anything by the author before, and I really enjoy exploring books by authors I've never heard of or read from before. It's hard to predict what my star rating on this one will be. I feel like it's just way too early to make that prediction, but I'm going to do it anyway. So I am not sure about this at all, but maybe 4 stars. I'm not absolutely loving it so far, but I'm not that far into it. That could change, but it's certainly not bad yet. I am also reading Sunrise Nights by Jeff Zentner and Brittany Cavallero. This is a young adult one. I'm not very far into this one as well. Now this one, I'm not sure if I'll finish. I'm kind of struggling with it so far, but it's too early to decide the star rating, but I'm just not sure if I'm gonna love this one. It might grow on me. I might get used to the writing style and I might end up loving it, so I don't know. But I mean, it's one of the longer ones, and part of me would be like, oh, it's just a novel in verse, finish it. I have DNF'd a novel in verse before, so even if it won't take up much of your time, I think it's still okay to DNF. You don't gotta be like, oh, well, it's a shorter book, I should finish it. Especially with me, because I can still take a while to read these. So I'm not very far into this. So far, I don't know what I'm gonna rate it, maybe 3 or 4 stars, or maybe lower if I finish it. So I'm not sure yet if I'll finish it. So I don't know if you'll see a full review of this, but we'll just have to see. And then lastly is Good Different by Meg Eden Kuyat. Recently I read her book, The Girl on the Walls, and loved that book. So far it's been my favorite book I've read this year. I think this book came out first, but this, like Girl on the Walls, is also a middle grade novel in verse featuring an autistic protagonist. So far I'm really enjoying this. I'm really relating to it, and I think it's pretty easy to follow along with. You might think all novels in verse would be, but I don't think so, especially when some use really poetic language. But I feel that this one, especially being realistic fiction, is pretty straightforward, pretty basic, but not in a bad way. So I'm really enjoying this. This I'm not very far into either, but I really look forward to reading more of it, and I'm already guessing it'll probably be on my top 10 best books of the year list. Maybe it won't be there by the end once I've read more books, but I think when I'm done with it, it will be on there. Will I like it more than The Girl on the Walls? I don't know yet, but I am enjoying this one a lot. So, of all the books I'm reading right now, some I'm enjoying more than others, but I'm currently still all giving them a chance. I mean, I know I'm definitely going to finish this. I'm close to done with Turn the Tide. That one's pretty good. Even though I'm farther into that one and that one's more developed at this point, I will probably end up liking this one even more. It's just more personal for me, more relatable. Question 3 is, what were the top 3 books you read last year? Those are in order from number 3 to number 1, number 1 being the best. Trinity by Tom DeLonge and AJ Hartley, Just Listen by Sarah Dessen, and This Song Is Not For You by Laura Nowlin. Now, if you mean the best books I read last year that were released in 2025, I can do that as well because I also made a video about that, so I'll look at my notes for that. I did a video for that with fiction and nonfiction, so I'll just talk about the fiction. Okay, looking at the list and 2 of the top 3 being nonfiction, I will just mention the nonfiction. Yoko by David Sheff, Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins, and Fahrenheit 182 by Mark Hoppus. So those are my favorite books that were released in 2025 that I read in their release year. Question 4 is, how many books did you read last year? So according to Goodreads, in total, and this includes every book I read, including like the children's books, I read a lot of books for younger readers, the number is 115. So it's not quite the same as if someone reads 115 adult novels, for example, but that is the number. And I don't read the smaller books just to get a higher number, like I'm genuinely interested in those, like I've read a lot of the Who Was biographies, for example, or the Arthur books. Question 5, how many books have you rated as 5 stars this year? I looked, and so far, it has been 8 out of 25. Question 6 says, do you have a reading target for this year? Are you on track? I mean, Goodreads encourages you to set a reading goal, which I've done. I don't take them super seriously, like I'm not going to force myself to get that goal completed. If it does, then that's cool, but if not, it's not like I was really going to earn anything anyway. So I did set a goal this year for, I think, 70 books. So far, I think I'm a little behind on that goal, and I'll probably be more behind as the year goes because earlier I was reading a lot of smaller books, and I'm doing less of that now. So yeah, I might not reach the goal. So far, I'm not quite on track for that, but if I don't reach it, that's no big deal. Question 7 is, how many pages long is the book you are reading now? That's a fun question. I'll go and look at each of them without trying to see what's at the end of the book. So this will be a little tricky, but I believe I can do it. Good Different looks like it is 273 pages. Sunrise Nights, 392 pages. So far, I'm able to cover the page and squint my eyes enough to see the page numbers, knowing where they're at, and not read any of the text. Wave looks like it is 313 pages. Turn the Tide looks like it is 350 pages. And Life on the Bridge is... I don't feel too bad about possibly seeing something in a nonfiction book because it's not a story. I'm not really going to spoil this book for myself. Including the acknowledgements, 231 pages. Sometimes when I got to the author's note or something in a book, the pages weren't numbered. But yeah, so they're not all around the same length. Some are a little longer than others, but they're all under 400 pages, and they're all at least 200. Question 8 is, how long are your videos? I don't have a set amount of time that they need to be. Like I know some people, for example, might make their videos be at least 10 minutes long each time. I don't have a specific length. I think the shortest was like maybe under 2 minutes, and the longest so far was I think over 40. So I don't really have a limit. I also don't have a minimum. It's really just however long it takes. I don't make sure that each tag video is the same length because some tags are much longer than others. So yeah, I just don't really have that. I didn't do the math to see what the average length is. Maybe I could have done that. I know I've been doing a lot of shorter videos recently that have been under 10 minutes long, so I would say maybe nowadays the average is between 5 minutes to 15 minutes, perhaps. Question 9 is, do you have a favorite number? I guess I don't feel super strongly about this, but I suppose I'll say 24. There are a few reasons that's significant to me. Question 10 says, last question, do you have a book on your shelves with a number in the title or on the cover? I guess I'll just look at all the ones on this entire bookshelf here and see which ones have a number in them. Okay, so there is Fahrenheit 182. It starts with 1 by Jason Lipschitz. I mean, it's spelled out. I don't know if they mean with the number in number form, but I'll do both. There's One Last Shot by John David Anderson. There's 11 Birthdays by Wendy Mass. Also in that series, there is 13 Gifts. So those are all the ones on this immediate shelf. I was sure there were a few. And then it says to tag others. I've already seen Some of my most watched booktubers do this tag, and I'm sure more will follow, so maybe if you were planning on doing it, I'm here to encourage you to do it. And if you weren't planning on doing it, but now you've heard of it and you'd like to do it, then yes, I'm tagging you as well. Basically, I'm tagging anybody who feels like they want to do it. I suppose that is all for the BookTube Numbers tag. This was a fun tag to do. Thank you for watching.